Hi there, everybody. Are you taking the upcoming August 2026 Management Case Study exam or even a Management Case Study exam this year? This interactive guide is 100% going to help you ace this exam. See, if you're taking the August 2026 attempt, this is going to be a gold mine for you. Even if you're taking later attempts, this will definitely help you structure your study, understand what is important, understand what to look at. So this is an interactive guide which we have created. It's one of a kind and it runs you through everything about the MCS exam from start to the end. You don't need to worry if you're entering from the gateway route, from the traditional route, from the exemptions route, whichever route you are from. The exam remains the same for all. So this preparation path that we have created remains the same for all because the core areas of this exam do not change. So if you focus on this interactive guide, if you engage with it, if you follow my explanations, I can guarantee you'll have a positive exam approach. This is completely free. There's no paywall. This interactive guide has been created completely free to help you from the start to the end ace your management gateway case study exam. So this screen that I have shared is the actual interactive guide interface web page which we have created. The link to access it is in the description box below. You just need to click on it. It will directly take you to the page, and this same screen that I'm sharing will be accessible for you. So you can also go through it and scroll through it at your own pace, while I am also going to explain every page one by one for you. So let's start on this interactive guide. And before we begin, let's just make sure to be clear that this interactive guide is going to run you through zero knowledge, starting with zero knowledge, giving you complete guidance about what this exam is through to the end. My name is Devansh. I'm the lead tutor at Finntutors. Finntutors is a CIMA registered tuition provider. We hold the Global Pass Rate Excellence Award for 4 years in a row now. So this is something which will further give you testament to the quality of our material, that anything that we create is very well researched and it's there to definitely help you do well on this exam. So let's start. The case study exam at the management level is a very unique exam. Certain students might be facing this kind of an exam for the first time. Some students might have taken the OCS and they're coming to the MCS. There is a gap between the requirements of this exam, and students often do not do well when they don't understand what the requirement is. So the first part of this video, I'm going to explain what this exam is, structure of the exam, how the exam is delivered, and all of that. So we start from zero, building up to the most technical aspects of mock writing, how much to write, how to write. Everything will flow for you. Now the MCS is not an exam where you have to learn everything from your E, P and F syllabus, mug it up and then put it in the exam. Absolutely not. The MCS is all about application. So you play the role of a finance manager within a fictional company. They'll tell you that you are a finance manager at XYZ company. So you need to, you will have questions in the exam that will be realistic problems which a business can face. And like a finance manager, you will have to support the senior management. The MCS is not about calculations or technical knowledge. The OCS was a lot about technical knowledge, knowing topics. The MCS, yes, also requires you to know topics, but it's not solely about technicality. It's more about your business understanding, your situation understanding, your scenario understanding. So it's about not knowing the textbook, but being able to apply the topics at the right moment. So you need your E, P and F knowledge, no doubt. Specifically P and F I would say, with P being the most important pillar for the MCS exam. But this exam has a lot to do with your scenario application skills. So a mistake which students make is they'll just pick up their E2, P2 and F2 textbooks and start studying from there. Okay, fine. But then how are you developing your scenario based answering skills and techniques? That is what we focus on through our courses. So now how is this exam delivered? This exam is a computer based exam. There are 4 sittings in a year: February, May, August and November. The current syllabus is the 2019 syllabus only, majorly. There have been a few updates in May 2026 which have already been incorporated into our material. We have taught on it and we have written material on the new topics, on the new blueprints areas as well. In the MCS, there is very little change, but the new topics have been incorporated within our syllabus material already. Now you can sit the exam at home, or you can visit a Pearson VUE center near you and take the exam over there. My suggestion is to take the exam at a test center because that's my preference, because I like there to be an exam environment so I can perform better, less hassle, less problems. Having said that, there are a whole lot of students who take the exam from home without any issue. Whatever works best for you. Next. Now, there are a lot of routes which you can get, which can get you to the MCS. Let's put it that way. You can be on the traditional route where you've taken the individual E2, P2 and F2 exams. This gives you the E2, P2 and F2 knowledge in depth. The only thing remaining for you now is case study application, which our course focuses on. Secondly, you can come from the exemptions route, which means you have done some past course, some past degrees, which are helping you gain exemptions directly to the MCS. Which means this is the first CIMA exam that you are going to take and you have no E2, P2 and F2 CIMA specific background. So this is where we have our revision courses to get you up to speed, which is video recorded explanations of E2, P2 and F2. And then we transition you to the case study course. The case study course remains the same for all. The revision course is generally recommended for students who are coming from the exemptions route, or who have taken the OTQs a long time back, or who are on the FLP route, because on the FLP as well, you have not taken the individual E2, P2 and F2 exams. You are supposed to complete E2, P2 and F2 competencies on the FLP portal. But our revision course helps you understand the concepts, and then you can easily move to the FLP portal and complete your competencies over there. That's what majority of our FLP students do. So whichever route you are coming from, objective, exemptions, FLP, the E2, P2 and F2 is a major part of the exam. I won't say it's the only part of the exam, but it's a good part of the exam which we need to focus on. So if you are from the objective test route, you must start polishing your P2 and F2 knowledge. If you are from the exemptions route, you must start learning CIMA specific knowledge from P2, F2 and then E2. If you are from the FLP route, complete your P2 competencies first, F2 competencies first, then your E2 competencies. If you're studying with us, we take care of everything for you because we will introduce the revision material for you. We will introduce how to revise, what to focus on, what are the major focus areas, what are the major key areas which keep coming up. So your admin work gets completely removed. Your ambiguity about the exam gets completely removed. Everything is taken care by us through our specific courses. And that is what has given us the Global Pass Rate Excellence Award. We are in touch with our students always. We have a free WhatsApp community on the left hand side of your screen. I will just put it up. It's a pop-up over here. On the left hand side, can you see the WhatsApp community? It's a free WhatsApp community which we run with a whole lot of updates, continuous updates for our students. Please join the WhatsApp community. It will definitely help you, and you can directly reach out to me as well through the WhatsApp community so I can answer any questions that you may have. Our personalized attention is what delivers confidence for students on exam day, that yes, somebody is holding your hand through this entire process, because this exam is a challenging one. So do join the WhatsApp community. Coming back to on exam day, what happens? Now, on the exam, this is a very peculiar exam which we have not, which you might have not encountered before. So, on exam day, CIMA is going to test you on 4 questions which are going to be scenario style, which are going to be scenario type, and you are going to be expected to solve a problem for your senior management. So there are going to be 4 questions in the exam, 45 minutes each. The first question comes up on your screen. It's timed to 45 minutes. Once the first question is completed, the 45 minutes have elapsed. Question number 1 is completed. Question number 1 is automatically submitted. We then are automatically moved to question number 2. Same way, you complete question number 2, then you are moved to question number 3. You cannot go back and forth. Once you submit, it's done, it's finished, it's gone. So in 45 minutes, you are expected to read the question, provide an answer for the question, think about your company, think about your E2, P2 and F2 knowledge which you can apply. So yes, this is a tricky, challenging exam for sure. But my question is, yes, this is something new. That's why, you're doubting it. But once we prepare ourselves well, everything flows easily. Everything is doable. See, once you're starting something, it always looks like an insurmountable mountain. Slowly we start digging through it. Slowly we start working on the important aspects of it. We can 100% do well. And that's what the interactive guide has been created for. And if you transition to one of our courses, then your study is completely taken care of on the next level, because every aspect is introduced by us one by one by one. So in the exam, you are going to have 4 questions, 45 minutes each. Each are going to be scenario based questions based on your pre-seen company, the pre-seen company that CIMA gives you. And each question is going to have multiple tasks. So question number 1, scenario based, on your screen, 45 minutes. Each question will have different requirements. So in question number 1, they'll tell you that, okay, first tell me this, second tell me this. So you'll have to answer these 2 things within 45 minutes. Same way in question number 2, generally in the MCS, they have been giving only 2 tasks. So, okay, second question also 2 tasks. Third question also 2 tasks. Same way, your exam is completed. So, if you know how the exam is delivered, you can prepare properly. Now, those who are new or taking this case study for the first time, you might be seeing a lot of mention of pre-seen. What is the pre-seen? So, the pre-seen is a fictional company that CIMA releases for your attempt. So, for example, I have now shared on your screen the pre-seen for November 2025 and February 2026. This is freely available material on the CIMA website. I'm just sharing it for you to explain. So, one pre-seen is used over 2 windows. November and Feb uses the same pre-seen. May and August uses the same pre-seen. So let's say in November and Feb, CIMA released a fictional company called Reset. Now this fictional company buys new and used personal computers and related products for resale. So this was a computer resale business, for example. Now on this company, CIMA gives you 20 to 30 odd pages of information. In this case, it's 26 pages of information about the company. What the company does, what the company's business is, what the company's market is, what the company's competitor is, what the company's financials are. All of that information CIMA gives you before your exam in advance. So you can spend time knowing your company, what your company is, what your business is. You can know and spend time on that. Because without knowing this, can you understand the problems that your company will face? Absolutely not. So revision, yes, is important. Knowing your company, knowing the pre-scene is also very, very important, and this is what the pre-scene means. Later on, I will show you how we do our pre-scene analysis, how we do our in-depth go through of the pre-scene, which is a total of 3 hours, linking it to specific E2, P2 and F2 important topics. I will show you all of that, but right now just understanding what this exam is and what the pre-scene is. So okay, this is what the pre-scene is. Now like we said, on exam day, this is what the screen is going to look like. So on exam day, you will be given 3 hours. This is your first screen. You click the next page. This is the next page which will show up in the exam. You'll see that, okay, first section, 45 minutes, 2 tasks. So 2 requirements from you. Same way, second question, 2 tasks. Third question, 45 minutes, 2 tasks. Fourth question, 45 minutes, 2 tasks. This is how your entire 3 hours are structured. Now what does this 60-40 mean? I'm going to come to that later on, deeper on, when we start with mock question writing. I will tell you what this 60-40 means. It's essentially a guide of how much to write. At this stage, we are only understanding the format of the exam. So this is the format. This is the format of a question now. You see, email style question. Your manager is telling you that, okay, this is a problem. This is a scenario. Can you help me with number 1? Identify the reasons, the stakeholders, with reasons, the stakeholders affected by this problem. Secondly, discuss the extent to which the new team leader of technicians should be held responsible. So in one question, they are asking you 2 things. And can you see timer 45 minutes automatically submitted once 45 minutes are completed. So when the 45 minutes start, you are expected to read the whole question, which comes with extra reference material, extra information, extra details about the problem. This is how all exam questions are going to be structured for you. So essentially, this page is only guiding you and telling you about what this exam is. The nuances of how to write an answer, how to divide a task, all of that I will guide you through. I am over here just giving you an example of what a pre-scene company is and what exam looks like, what the parts of the exam look like. So in these 45 minutes, there are a whole bunch of things which you are expected to do, which you are expected to achieve. So if you are not prepared with that background knowledge, it will become very difficult to achieve this. Now, what CIMA is actually testing? So we already know that E2, P2 and F2 forms the base for this exam, right? But do I have to learn and memorize every single page from E2, P2 and F2 to be able to do well on this exam? Absolutely not. This exam again is not a repetition of theory, is not theory repetition. It's a simulation of a real job of a mid-level finance professional, a finance manager who is reporting to their boss. You are now you're not sitting a theory test. You are being assessed on whether you can do the job and recommend the direction for the business. So now guide you, to help guide you on what to study, how to study it, CIMA condenses your role into 5 core activities. You might be hearing a lot about blueprints, core activities, I can statements. This is exactly addressing that. So CIMA says that to be a good finance manager, you are expected to do 5 roles, or you are expected to complete 5 core activities. What are the core activities? The core activities are opportunities to add value. You should be able to evaluate opportunities to add value. You should be able to implement senior management decisions. You should be able to manage performance and costs to create sustainable value. You should be able to measure performance, and you should be able to manage internal and external stakeholders. So CIMA says that as a finance manager, you should be able to do these 5 core activities. But these are so very broad, right? Evaluate opportunities to add value can mean 50 different things. Measuring performance can mean 50 different things. So what CIMA did is first tell you that okay, these 5 core activities are to be done. But to help you become a good finance manager and to help you study, because remember this is an exam, they created separate I can statements to break down each of the core areas. So if I scroll down on this interactive guide itself and I hit the expand button, you will see the actual I can statements for each core area. There are multiple I can statements within each core area. Why? To help you revise and to become a good finance manager, you will obviously need technical knowledge. So these I can statements are nothing but direct relations to your E, P and F syllabus areas. So technically, if I study these I can statement hints, only then I will be able to, for example, evaluate opportunities to add value in the exam. When a question comes up around this blueprint, I will be able to answer and serve the management better. So you will be able to play the role of a finance manager in a much better way if you have your revision done, because exam questions are going to be revolving around these 5 core areas only. So if you study these core areas and the I can statements within these core areas, your life becomes a lot easier, because when we go to how much to write, how to dissect a question, how to bifurcate a question, it will become much more easier for you if you have your technical knowledge sound. For example, the first I can statement is I can select appropriate capital investment appraisal techniques and apply them, including decisions related to capital investment, product service, digital transformation projects and acquisitions. So if there is any acquisition, if there is any product service being launched, any capital investment decisions, then you should be able to apply appropriate techniques and tell the management why the technique is appropriate, what are the drawbacks, what is good, what is bad, how the technique works and all of that. Now if you think logically, this is direct relation to your P2 chapter number 5, which in our study notes does a very simple job for you of giving you a summary of each of the capital investment appraisal techniques. So if you have revised your capital investment appraisal techniques like NPV, IRR, payback, discounted payback, ARR, all of these techniques, if you have revised, then in the exam when a question comes up about investment appraisal, you already saw how they ask questions. So they can tell you, okay, I need help with using NPV, or rather, can you please justify the use of NPV in this particular situation? Or can you give me the advantages of using NPV? Can you give me the disadvantages of using NPV or ARR or payback or whatever? It could be related to any capital investment appraisal technique. Now, if you've revised that technique, you know how they're asking you, then automatically you are developing a lot of important knowledge which you will then be able to use directly in the exam to get your marks and your credit. So you should not blindly study from your E2, P2 and F2 notes or textbook. You should study the areas which are related to the I can statements, and within our notes we have included only those areas which are relevant to the I can statement because we have mapped them out. This is something that we are doing over years. So we have mapped it out to exactly the specific areas, very clearly provided and given for you one by one by one. So that is the I can statements. Now these I can statements are not P2 specific, E2 specific or F2 specific. They are a mixture of all. For example, within core area A itself, the last I can statement is, I can explain the implications of change to the weighted average cost of capital. So essentially, this is your F2 syllabus chapter 3, your weighted average cost of capital, the effect of cost of equity, effect of cost of debt. So this way, if you treat each I can statement as a syllabus area revision guide, you are focusing on the important areas, important syllabus areas, and then automatically you are gathering knowledge which is key for this exam. Now when you study with us, like I said, we have already mapped out the important topics. We have already included revision of topics on important areas only. So this is imperative to understand. What are the blueprints? The blueprint are 5 core jobs which you are expected to do as a finance manager, and your exam questions will be based around these blueprints. To help you study, each blueprint has been broken down into separate I can statements. You should be picking each I can statement and making sure that your revision is on point for each I can statement. Now we have mapped our entire MCS revision and study notes to the blueprint areas. So again, your admin is removed, your ambiguity is removed, your anxiety is improved. Okay, is this here or is this there? Is this related to this I can statement or that I can statement? All of that is removed because our study notes are very crisp, precise, removing extra information for you so that we focus on the important areas, because majority of our students are working professionals. So we want to make sure that we help you maximize your learning and minimize your time. Now, because we are speaking about, our notes, and investment appraisal, let me just show you that, okay, investment appraisal, this is our chapter notes. You will see that we have kept the topics which are of utmost importance only. And you will see we explain in a very, very, very case study oriented way, in a very, very case study related way, rather than helping you focus on numbers, focus on calculations, which is not what the case study exam is about. So I'm also answering a very important question which students ask me is, how should I study? Yes, okay, I know that we should be focusing on the I can statements, but should I be solving sums for NPV, IRR? Should I be solving sums on all of that? No. My suggestion to everybody is pick each I can statement. If you're studying with us, you'll know what to do because we make it clear within our introduction videos and our videos all together, and in our study notes as well. But if you're studying by yourself also, my suggestion is for every topic, close your eyes and make sure you are able to explain that topic in 5 lines to 6 lines in your own words. So for example, what is NPV? In my own words. Advantages, disadvantages in my own words. For NPV or for any, any concept that includes formulas, you can know the formula. For example, how is NPV calculated? You can know the formula. You don't have to solve anything. But knowing the formula helps you explain NPV in a better way. So, okay, what is NPV in my own words? If I can remember the formula, well and good. Advantages, disadvantages of NPV, move to the next method, next method, next method. I don't want detailing. I don't want you to mug up everything. This is not a theory exam. They're not going to ask you explain NPV as a concept. No. How can NPV be used? How can NPV be applied? Advantages of NPV, disadvantages of NPV. Same for each, appraisal technique. If you are able to answer on a topic in your own words, simple, easy, 5 to 6 lines, you tick the topic or you tick the I can statement one by one, and you keep moving on. So when you're doing our notes, you get very well mapped out notes to the core areas and as a summary and as a table to make your life very simple and not focus on excessive, stuff. So the entire chapter number 5 is done within 10 odd pages with simple tables, simple examples, simple case study references, so you understand the concept. And then I can teach you the application. So the application teaching, the writing teaching, how to answer a question in the exam becomes a whole lot easier if you know the concept. And that is why the blueprints, the revision is the place to start. So now, up until now, you have covered, if you see, just in this interactive guide, you covered what this exam is, how it's delivered, what the bases of the exam are, and the most important aspect, how to study, what to study, what the blueprints are. That has been covered for you up until now. We're moving it to the next section, which is the pre-scene section. So now is where we begin on Cartn specific review or revision. So see, we already know what the pre-scene document is. It's a 20-30 page document, a fictional company given to us on which my exam questions are going to be based. So my exam questions are going to be based on these topics. I already know that. Now for the May and August attempt, the company given to us is called Cartn. So in this interactive guide, we have given you firstly the actual CIMA pre-scene or the actual Cartn pre-scene which has been released by CIMA. I've just put it on your screen for your viewing, for your go through. You will see that this is a roughly 26 page document where they have given me all the details about what Cartn is, how it functions, what the operations are. Then it gives me some financial statements, and all aspects are presented one by one in the actual CIMA pre-scene. So first thing I want everybody to do is please make your knowledge about Cartn very, very specific before we move ahead. Because without knowing the company, moving to the other aspects will be like a jump of an important area. So okay, I know how to revise. I am continuing my revision in the background. I keep going through my revision in the background using the I can statements. Side by side, I now pick up the pre-scene and the best pre-scene overview for you. Remember, I will do the overview for you within this video. My full detailed 3-hour pre-scene analysis, which uses an annotated pre-scene created by us, linking to different E2, P2 and F2 topics, is part of our study course. Over here, I am going to do an overview for you because again, on this interactive guide, we want to give you ultimate material We want to give you material which introduces you from the start to the end of the exam, and hence I will go through a specifically created pre-scene overview with you. So when you click on the pre-scene overview, my pre-scene overview document will open up for you. So now going through this document with you to give you an overview of what our company is. So okay, Cartn is a global food packaging solutions company. So one of the world's largest manufacturers of food packaging. Remember, not food, but food packaging. Supplying innovative retail packaging materials, design support, and facility installation services to the global food and beverage industry. So what do? We provide innovative retail packaging materials, design support, how packaging should be designed, and facility installation services, how the packaging facility should be installed for global food and beverage industries is provided by Cartn. So Cartn is a food packaging company overall. The headquarters are based in Haaland. So this is a fictional country, Haaland, reporting under the IFRS with financials in $, which is the Haalandian currency. You see how they are setting the entire theme. The core business is, we already know, manufactures food packaging and consultancy services for packaging facility design and installation. So we manufacture food packaging, yes, we covered, but we also have consultancy services for facility design and installation. So consultancy as well as manufacturing is the business of Cartn. Innovation, we hold numerous patents for innovation packaging design since 1960. Now we are a finance manager at Cartn's head office with primary responsibilities in management accounting. So this is giving you an overview of the company, but now if you look at it, they told us that the financials are in $, and we are a global company. Now very clearly this means that your currency risk is coming into the picture, because there will be transactions in different currencies. You might have subsidiaries who might have to be translated, whose financials might have to be translated to $. So your transaction risk, translation risk, IAS 21 from your F2 syllabus becomes very important over here. We provide manufacturing as well as consultancy services. So how should the revenue from these consultancy services be recorded? Because it will be an ongoing commitment, right? So revenue recognition, IFRS 15 from your F2 syllabus. What should be the price of this packaging? How should we set the price for packaging? Innovative packaging, P2 syllabus. So everything within the pre-scene analysis, the actual pre-scene given by CIMA, and within my overview as well, is there for a reason. It gives you a hint. It gives you a link to important syllabus areas. So these syllabus areas are what we try to keep annotating, what we try to keep bringing out, and because of our experience of doing it for so many years, we have now been able to develop a very thorough list of topics which we know can be tested, which we know are tested, which we know are very much coming up in the exam. So we have curated all of that, and then we do our pre-scene analysis with you. So when you do my full 3-hour pre-scene, that's a completely different ball game altogether, because it includes every line one by one of the pre-scene we go through, and then we make direct relations to your syllabus areas of E2, P2 and F2, which gives you a great consolidated list of topics at the end which you can follow, which you can quickly first focus your revision on. And if you look at these topics which we point out, these are essentially the important topics which will link back and correlate to your I can statement areas. So when doing the pre-scene, please keep your eye open. Please keep your mind open to these important syllabus areas which we are pointing out. Just to quickly give you a brief look through, I have now shared my pre-scene analysis on screen, which is annotated. You'll see that we pick each aspect of the pre-scene and then we relate it to your E2, P2, F2 core areas. We relate it to important syllabus areas, and this we do for every single line and page which we find important, so we are not leaving any stone unturned. So that's what happens in our detailed full 3-hour pre-scene. But while going through this overview as well, my major goal is to help you understand the company and provide some links, because that's what the interactive guide has been created for. So yes, moving on to the next page. The food packaging is classified into 3 distinct tiers. There's primary packaging, secondary packaging, and tertiary packaging. Now primary packaging comes in direct contact of the food. So for example, if you're selling milk, if your customer rather is selling milk, Cartn will give the bottle for the milk, or the Tetra Pak for the milk, or the can for the milk, for a soda, for example. So bottles, jars, bags, cans come into the primary packaging category. The secondary packaging is, it protects the primary packaging during transport, and it also helps with branding. Sometimes you see on packaging, there are innovative captions, images, pictures. So these are helping you with branding as well as transport. So examples can be boxes, trays, or sleeves. And then last is tertiary packaging, which is your bulk shipping, majorly your pallets, corrugated boxes, in which the individual packages or bottles are placed. This is majorly looking at cost and efficiency. So see, the first page was all about the overview of what Cartn does. The second part is giving you a little bit of the food packaging industry, of the food packaging market. So they're telling us that in the market there are 3 types. We are not speaking Cartn specific yet. First page was Cartn specific. Second, they've given us the industry of food packaging. Because obviously this is a fictional company for you. We don't work in food packaging companies every day, so we don't know what this market is. So what CIMA is doing is they're introducing the market for you a little bit, and then they'll start with Cartn specific info. So okay, each tier plays a very important role. Primary packaging safeguards the milk. Milk we are using as an example. It could be anything, cereal, drinks, soda, anything. Secondary packaging enhances the presentation and protects it. And tertiary packaging ensures your proper logistics. Now, when packaging material is being selected, see, packaging is a science. It's not something which you can randomly suggest. Because when packaging material is being selected, it becomes very important to keep in mind some factors. The first factor is safety and compatibility. So harmful interactions can occur between packaging materials and the food products. For example, acidic fruit juices may react with aluminum cans. So it becomes very important to choose a proper type of packaging for a particular product. So safety is key. Second, environmental protection. Many products must be shielded from moisture, oxygen, or light. So you have to create or use packaging accordingly. Third, regulation and sustainability. Very important to keep in mind the country's rules and regulations. And excessive or non-recyclable packaging can affect negatively your brand. Most importantly, you want to keep in mind the cost and the presentation. You don't want the cost of packaging to be very, very high and the presentation to be very, very bad, because then nobody's inclined to buy the product. So as a packaging delivery company, a company that manufactures packaging, you will need to keep this in mind when you suggest any packaging, because these are areas of risk. Risk management repeatedly keeps coming up in the exam, which is from your P2 syllabus. So very important to make sure that these risks are identified, and then we have a proper plan to manage these risks as Cartn. So when I'm trying to understand the industry, I'm trying to understand the risks which can arise because of the nature of our industry. Now we have types of packaging. Now food packaging takes many different forms, broadly categorized as rigid, flexible, or semi-rigid. Each category offers distinct advantages and deals with the above problems that we spoke of. The safety of the product, the storage of the product, the sustainability of the product, for example. So first let's look at rigid. As the name suggests, rigid is not foldable, glass or metal. The cans protect from moisture, light, oxygen. Jars are glass bodies. They are, resealable after opening, ideal for jams, sauces, dried herbs. So depending on the type of the customer, you will have to decide which type of packaging to use. So a lot of decision making lies upon Cartn. So responsibility centers will be very important for Cartn, because which center has taken which decision, which has affected which metric of performance, will be an important performance overview. So your responsibility accounting concept from P2 is coming up. Next, you can have flexible containers. So made from plastic or metal foil, lighter and cheaper than rigid alternatives. So here your flexible containers are your bags, films and wrappers. Then we have semi-rigid containers as well. These are typically made from plastic or paperboard. Remember sustainability. We want to try and reduce the use of plastic as much as possible, or increase sustainability as much as possible, because sustainability as a theme, CIMA has given a lot of importance to it, and it has been very much coming up in the exam. This also links to your non-financial reporting or integrated reporting from F2, which keeps coming up. So semi-rigid packaging containers include your trays, plastic or paperboard trays. They can have separate compartments. You might have seen them at supermarkets. They can include your tubs, stronger than trays, but designed for reopening and closing your ice cream tubs. Boxes. So these protect products and provide a surface for branding. And last, cartons. Constructed from paperboard, aluminium and plastic layers bonded with adhesive. So cartons are used for liquids such as milk and fruit juice majorly. You see milk cartons, fruit juice cartons, they are fitted with recyclable caps. This they are just setting the scene, because this they are introducing you to the industry, introducing you to the market before they start with actual Cartn information, so that you can, when we start with actually Cartn as part of this pre-scene, in the actual CIMA pre-scene also this is the same layout. That is why I've kept the same layout. So in the actual CIMA pre-scene also, first they start with an overview, then an industry, then they start industry background, then they start with Cartn. So we are doing the same over here as part of this overview, as part of this revision guide for you. So selecting packaging. Key factors for food manufacturers. How do you select the right kind of packaging? The right kind of packaging is selected after various conditions. The right kind of packaging is based upon where you are going to store, how it's going to be stored, how it's going to be presented. It depends upon the preparation method. Is it ready to eat food? Is it item which you're going to keep directly in the microwave, oven? Are you not going to heat it at all? right kind of packaging is chosen with sustainability, recyclability in mind. The right kind of packaging is chosen with, the type of the product in mind. So packaging is an integral part of the manufacturing process, with production lines designed to package the food immediately after it's made. So our packaging is very important, and then our synergy with the customer is very important, because we will help them design the packaging line as well, the packaging installation as well. It's part of our business, if you remember, at the first page. So we are a very important part of the customer's ecosystem. So we are a key player for the customer. The customer is also a key player for us. So this is stakeholder management, which is very important because of the nature of our business. Now, additional selection criteria is that, okay, we want packaging which keeps the products visible and attractive. Food packaging also needs to comply with legislation relating to both food safety and sustainability. So these are all, risks which are arising because of the nature of our business. Manufacturers should consider whether packaging can be recycled or at a minimum be biodegradable. Some products require aseptic packaging, which is sterilization of both the food and the container before packaging in a sterile environment. So aseptic packaging is a type of packaging which extends the shelf life by removing bacteria. It reduces the food waste. Now, overall, any type of packaging has buoyant worldwide demand. However, consumers are increasingly concerned about the sustainability and the safe disposal of used packaging, making environmental credentials a very important differentiator. So for me as Cartn, this was an industry background of what packaging is, why packaging is important, what are the types of packaging, what are the risks involved because of the nature of the business. So keeping all of this in mind, I now arrive at Cartn's company profile, or I now arrive at Cartn's company analysis. Now we are speaking specific to Cartn. So it was founded by engineers during a period of rapid growth and in processed and packaging foods in 1960. On 1978, it got quoted on the stock exchange. It's a listed company, so your cost of equity and your listing related ratios, ROCE, and all the other related ratios, your earnings per share, all of this is very clearly within your F2 syllabus. They become very prevalent, very much tested in the exam. This is clear link because it's a listed company. 1983, founders sold their remaining shares and departed. Today, one of the 6 largest manufacturers of cartons and tubs globally. So out of all of the different types of packaging, we focus, or rather we are the 6th largest manufacturer in the world of cartons and tubs. Now, Cartn employees, the company's name is also Cartn and it makes cartons. So there's a little bit of a wording confusion. Just make sure you're not confused. Now, Cartn as a company employs 23,000 people across 27 factories worldwide. So we have 23,000 people, sorry. So all your people management issues, managing of teams, managing of conflicts, management of departments will be very important, and this is directly related to your I can statements. We have 27 factories, which means assets and liabilities in many different currencies. We might also have different companies which are now treated as subsidiaries because we are one of the world's largest companies. So we might have subsidiaries. So your subsidiary accounting, from your group accounting from F2, very much, something which can be tested, and you will need the knowledge of that. We specialize in the manufacture of cartons and tubs. All packaging is supplied in standard sizes, 1 liter, 0.5 liter and 0.2 liter. We have standard sizes. Cartons are supplied as rolls of laminated materials with separate plastic caps. So we supply it as a roll with separate caps. Customer production lines fold, seal and cap the carton. So we give it as a roll, and then at the customer's factory, the final process which we have helped set up, remember, is folding, sealing and capping the carton. Tubs are preformed and shipped with separate lids. So tubs are preformed and shipped with separate lids, designed for efficient stacking. So essentially cartons and tubs are my major products. So my product life cycle, the life cycle costing, the product life cycle from P2 syllabus becomes important to understand, because these are my two products. Are they in the growth category? Are they in the maturity category? Are they in the decline category? Is something that I want to keep an eye out for, because then I can price, sell, stage my products accordingly. Now, if I look at customer segments by revenue, dairy and substitutes represent the largest share of cartons manufacturing revenue at 48%, then fruit juices, and then fresh and frozen food at 21%. Remember, my major products are cartons and tubs. So wherever cartons and tubs are used, I am prevalent. And I am most prevalent and I am most visible in the dairy and substitutes market, because that is where majority and traditionally cartons and tubs have been used. So this is my stakeholder identification. Who are my stakeholders? My customers, my customer management. Now, product highlight. Dairy substitutes, so cartons for fresh milk, UHT milk, which is your aseptic milk that we spoke about, aseptic packaging, and plant-based alternatives including soy, almond and oat milks. Plastic and paper tubs for yogurt and other dairy products. So we have cartons for fresh milk, we have cartons for your aseptic packed milk, plant-based alternatives, we have plastic and paper tubs for yogurt and dairy products. For fruit juices, again we have cartons. Resealable plastic caps, this is what you see every day. If you buy a fruit juice, it will have a carton resealable cap. For fresh and frozen food, we have a range of tubs for chilled and frozen foods, including ice cream, available in plastic or layered paper construction. So these are the products which are my highlights. These are the major products which I am selling. So cartons and tubs are my major products. So Cartn provides customers with software to design graphics and text for their packaging. So we have our own software, we have our own website or app on which this software is based. So your intangible assets coming into the picture over here. Already they have said that we hold a lot of patents. So intangible assets IS 38 F2 syllabus becomes very important over here, and it can be tested. So designs are emailed to Cartn and used to ensure all packaging is printed to exact customer specifications, because if we don't do that, customers will not accept the order and it will be a big loss for the company. This was my overall manufacturing at a glance. Same way, we have another revenue generating business area, which is consultancy. Now, in addition to manufacturing, Cartn provides a specialist consultancy service to design and install packaging equipment compatible with its cartons and tubs that it sells. So client benefits from Cartn's deep engineering expertise in creating efficient, tailored packaging solutions. So I not only manufacture, the customer can create his own also, but I also have a consultancy team who can sit with my customer and design the entire process of packaging, what the packaging will look like, how the product will be packaged at the customer's factory. The packaging equipment will be required, what will be required. All of that we provide consultancy services for. Remember, we only manufacture packaging. We don't make the packaging equipment or anything like that. For that, we have only consultancy, which means we have consultants or a revenue service which tells customers that, okay, this is the equipment that we can get, this is the installation process, this is how you should design the entire installation, the entire packaging department. All of that we provide a consultancy service for, and clients often opt for this service because of our deep engineering expertise which we have developed over years, because we are in the market since 1960. Remember that. So that's close to 40 and 26, so 66 years. So essentially we have goodwill, we have customer backing already, which we are using to provide consultancy services. How does this work? So first, the client brief. So clients brief Cartn's design team on the product to be packaged. What is the product? Is it milk, ice cream? The sizes required, all of that. Then Cartn's engineers design the packaging systems compatible with the production line of the customer. Then clients receive detailed recommendations listing specific equipment, manufacturing models, that okay, you get the packaging equipment from this person. Cartn does not supply or install the equipment. We are only providing consultancy service, that okay, this is how you can set it, this is where you can buy it from. Entire setup consultancy is done by us. The actual setup and the actual purchase of the equipment is done by the customer according to our directions. We provide the installation support. But essentially, this is an area of business which we can probably look to expand into, because right now we don't have manufacturing, or rather we don't have packaging equipment. So this could be the clog in the wheel which is missing. Can we have a factory, or can we buy a subsidiary which actually makes this equipment? So the entire process will then be controlled by us. We don't have to rely on anybody else. We don't have to consult anything else. The entire value will run within the business itself. This is a theme which can be tested in the exam. So during our pre-scene analysis, we speak about a lot of themes also which can come up in the exam because of the nature of this pre-scene. So if I look at consultancy as a glance, 800 design and technical staff we have. Remember, already 23,000 employees. In the consultancy, we have 800. So 23,000 were in manufacturing, 800 in design, 6 offices worldwide. So now there are so many different offices, and naturally so many different departments. There will be natural transfer of goods or services within the company. Because of this transfer of goods and services, whether it be manufacturing, whether it be consultancy, transfer pricing comes into the picture. Transfer pricing is a very, very common topic in the exam. International transfer pricing, why is it done? What is transfer pricing? These are important P2 syllabus areas you definitely have to cover. So the consultancy price is based on estimated time and engineer seniority. Cost overruns are charged to the client or borne by Cartn depending on the cause. So over here, your contingent assets, contingent liabilities and provisions comes into the picture if we suggest something incorrect, or for the manufacturing side, if we deliver, let's say, spoiled packaging, or because of our packaging the customer product got spoiled. So provisions can arise, contingent liabilities can arise. We are advisory only, remember that. No equipment manufacturing or installation, we only advise. Now consultancy clients frequently become my manufacturing customers. because of how I have set up the entire consultancy, they will tell us that, okay, can you only make my packaging material? So I will say yes, naturally. This creates a natural pipeline between Cartn's two business lines. To further capture value, can we, like I said, go into equipment manufacturing, go into installation handling by ourselves? So there is no third party involved. Everything Cartn is doing related to packaging from start to end. That can be a scenario, right? After that, they've given us the board structure, which means they've given us people who are leading this company, people who are running this company. Now, Cartn is governed by an experienced executive board and 4 non-executives. Now, this is a very, very clear functional structure which is in place, because each function is divided into a department. Everything related to operations, Allison looks at. Everything related to marketing, Heatham looks at. Everything related to product development, like research and development, sustainability, Wofi looks at. And your final boss is Mario, because he is the finance director. You will report to the senior finance manager, and the senior finance manager will directly report to the finance director. This is the setup of our board. This is the board structure. So very clearly this is a functional structure which is in place, with the CEO coming at the top, and the CEO is making the day-to-day decisions. According to good corporate governance rules, we also have non-executive directors. We have a chairman, we have other 3 non-executive directors. So according to good corporate governance rules, these are necessary, these are needed. There is no mention of committees such as the audit committee, remuneration committee, nominations committee. But that's fine, we can assume that those are being met, because this is something that is provided more detail on in the strategic case study exam. Right now, this is not of, corporate governance is not of too much consideration. After this, we have our business model given to us. This directly relates to my E2 business model, business ecosystem areas, and I can guarantee you 100% you will have a question on business models in the exam. For example, we are going ahead with, let's say, the purchase of installation equipment manufacturing company. Is this in line with our business model, for example? Or we are doing this, which part of the business model it affects? Which part of the business model gets affected by this, for example? These are very, very common questions which come up in the exam, and within our mock questions, we make sure that we test you on the same. So, this is just a overview I'm giving you. But first, every business starts by defining value. What is the value definition for the company? For packaging customers, we want to supply excellent products that enhance the quality of the food. For consultancy, we want to apply engineering expertise to recommend the most suitable packaging solutions. This is how we started the business. This is what we have in mind when we are starting any business area also. Now, this is taken forward to create value through expertise in packaging manufacture and the creation of packaging solutions. Heavy investment in staff training and development, because we give importance to staff, because we give importance to research and development. We have so many patents. Customers rely upon us in terms of time and quality. Now, these are things which you can keep in mind to enhance your answer as well. When we go deeper on into mock question writing, this overview helps you not only understand your company, but it 100% also helps you with great ideas which you can use as part of your answers. So when you are writing anything, you can say that, okay, customers rely on us in terms of our time and quality. Then you go on writing whatever you want to write or prove your point. But when you start that way, it clearly tells the examiner that, okay, this person has studied the pre-scene. That's where your integration marks are. So understanding the company is not only for understanding. Yes, it's very key to understand your company, but it's also key on how we use it within our answers. So all of this summary analysis that I'm giving you is helping you identify key topics, plus it's helping you understand, how I can use important areas of the companies within my answers. So we first defined our value, then we created that value, then we need to deliver the value to the customer. Now, packaging factories and design consultancies in several countries enable Cartn to understand the local conditions, because the local conditions of India are different, of the UK are different, of the US, of Australia are different. Because we have 27 factories and offices all over the world, we are able to understand customers better so that we can serve them better. And last, how do we capture this value? How do we earn from it? We benefit from commercial success of my customers. If my customers benefit, then automatically more products, so more packaging, I benefit. The synergy between the consultancy and the manufacturing arm is key for us. So consultancy clients become my manufacturing clients. So very important to make sure that consultancy and manufacturing both are given importance, and this is my business model. Now to the financial analysis section. Now within the financial analysis section, I will do it very differently for you as part of this summary. In my detailed 3-hour pre-scene, what we do is we go through every number one by one, explaining why, where, how, because understanding your company is key. But within this summary, what I'll do is I'll directly look at my calculated, let's say, ratios for you to make sense of where the company is right now. So ideally what I would do is I would tell you, okay, revenue has gone from 1149 to 1236, which is a good sign. Okay. Cost of sales, I would do the same. Tell you the reason why. For every number, we would go through the why. But that's within my detailed analysis. What we'll do over here is we'll directly show you my calculations. So revenue increased by 7%, but we were able to control the costs. So cost of sales was 4.83, which gave me a healthy increase in gross profit. Still, revenue went up, but I was able to control my admin expenses. So my overall operating profit, healthy 52% increase. Finance costs further went down. So my profit before tax increase is 61%. A very healthy company, a very strong company, growing company, good margins. All of this is a very important sign for me to understand the financial health of my company. So what we would do is, in my detailed analysis, pick each number, explain it for you, and then move to the ratio analysis. But because this is a summary that we are doing, we'll blitz through the important sections. So for Cartn now, they've given me the statement of changes in equity. This is the full chapter in F2. Very important for you to know how to read the statement of changes in equity. Over here, it's very evident that the dividend paid out, I'll look at two important numbers. The dividend was 87.8 million, which is close to 80% of my profit, which was paid out. So as the business continues to grow, if we look at expansion, because we are already healthy, growing, we have good profits. If we look at expansion, can we continue to pay this dividend? Also, the effect of different sources of finance. If we discontinue my dividend, I can use my profit for other positive NPV projects, right? So it has an effect on your sources of finance as well. That's dividend. Secondly, my exchange difference was positive at 9.6, IAS 21. This is your translation effect. Remember, if it was transaction, internal trading, transactions, it would go in your profit or loss. In a statement of changes in equity, this is translation. So very naturally, we own different subsidiaries all over the world. When at the end of the year, they are translated back to $, there can be a negative or a positive exchange difference. This year, it was positive. Just popping in. I hope you are finding this analysis helpful. Even if you're not studying with us, we are always here to help you, and any questions we will answer for you. So email us help@finntutors.com. We personally respond to all emails, or you can directly WhatsApp me also. Because of this personal attention that we try to give every student, we hold the Global Pass Rate Excellence Award for 3 years in a row. So for any questions, don't hesitate. Reach out to us and we will help you. That brings me to the financial position. So very clearly there's a hint that it's consolidated, which means different subsidiaries have been combined within this statement. Again, we'll move to my analysis directly. So before I move to my analysis we would just want to look at it as a very standard statement of financial position, as a very strong company with a good asset base, with not many liabilities to be worried about, and with a good cash position as well. If we look at the ratios, from 17%, my ROCE became 25%. My asset turnover also increased. Now all of this is going to increase because you are reporting healthy profits. One aspect I want to look at is the gearing ratio. From 31, it became 28. Why? Because a loan was repaid. So you were able to grow, plus you were able to repay a loan, which is a very healthy sign for any business. Now this very clearly showcases that we still have debt capacity. Something for you to keep in mind as we move ahead, because often they will ask you, okay, should we fund with debt or equity? You know that you have debt capacity, so you can suggest debt because debt is cheaper than equity. F2 syllabus, my effect on cost of capital. So you can suggest go with debt because you have the debt capacity, and equity will generally be more expensive. Debt will generally be cheaper. So gearing can be suggested, or debt can be suggested, if you know your company. And that is what we are aiming to do through this summary analysis. Obviously, we discussed this much more detail and its effect on debt and equity. It's the effect of debt and equity on WACC, how it can change within my full analysis. But this was just a very clear direction for you on, yes, debt can be suggested for future expansion, which does look to be on the cards because the company is strong, it's growing, it's moving in the right direction. Now we have sustainability. Now sustainability is very important in this market, which we already knew, but it becomes even more important because of this mention that they've given us. They would usually give this in the SCS, but they've given it in the MCS, means that sustainability is going to be a recurring theme in the exam as well. So we accept full responsibility for sustainability of the group's operations. So we are always looking at sustainability from the strategy side as well. Food packaging requires us to maintain freshness. So Cartn is already there telling you, looking to replace the plastic lids with paperboard lids, to look at biodiversity friendly wood sourcing, to look at a better efficient cycle. These are clear themes they have given you. This can be tested, and using these themes, a variety of topics that we have spoken about, target costing or NPV or IAS 33, anything could be tested. They'll tell you, we are expanding, we need funds, IAS 33. We are coming up with new paperboard lids, target costing to be used. Anything, but the themes have been presented to you very clearly within the pre-scene itself. If we are not aware and if we are not smart, then we won't be able to be ready for it. We already have a sustainability committee which reports to the board. So essentially, the sustainability setup within the business is good. Sustainability is within our roots. So you need to remember that any new suggestions that you make for Cartn need to be sustainable, because that's the business's commitment. And we've done that by reducing my carbon emissions from 35 to 24 gram over the decade, which means you are committed. This is another metric which you can use within your answer writing. So use that you have a sustainability committee if you're writing anything around sustainability. Use that you've reduced your emissions per carton by 31% over the decade. All of these analyses have been presented for you so that you can use them. Yes, you understand your company. Yes, we link to important E2, P2 and F2 aspects. But if you don't use it in the exam, this is all going to waste. Now they've given me my competitors' annual report as well. Remember, we are one of the 6 largest manufacturers. One more within these 6 is called Valbox. But Valbox is only concentrating on manufacturing. So there can be a scenario where competition increases, Valbox also enters consultancy. Or it can be a scenario where you further expand to make your position more stronger. All of this becomes possible because we know my company. Now we know Valbox is only manufacturing. We are manufacturing as well as consultancy. So in my detailed analysis, again, what we would do is go through number by number for Valbox. But as a part of this summary, I will straight away move you to my comparative analysis. So if I do the comparison, you'll see that revenue for Valbox is 6.3% increase. For me, it's 7.52. So I'm growing faster than them. My cost of sales I was able to control, and that is why my gross profit is higher. Now they are only manufacturing, remember that. So their cost of sales are higher. I am consultancy, service as well. Service has lower costs, or rather service is more profitable than solely manufacturing in some cases, because service does not really involve any inputs, right? The input is time, which my design team gives. So because of my business model, I was able to be more lean and control my costs, and that is why my gross profit is very much better than theirs. For them, there was an increase in admin expenses, whereas I was able to control mine. I was able to control all of the costs, still grow. That is why my operating profit boosted to 52 and theirs is only at 11%. So essentially, if you look at our profit before tax for both companies, theirs is also increasing, mine is also increasing, but mine is increasing at a much more rapid pace, much more rapid. Theirs is 12%, mine is 61%, 5 times. So essentially, we are moving in the right direction, and to further capture the growth, it could be expansion, it could be cost cutting, whatever, to stay ahead of your competitor. Same way, I'll take you to the comparative financial position. Now you saw how many pages I have scrolled through. So that much detail is included within my detailed financial analysis. But again, going to the competition, Valbox ROCE was 35%, mine was 25.8%. Even because of all of these profits, they have a larger asset base and they are a larger company than me. If you look at their absolute numbers, you will see that they are bigger than me. My asset base was close to 600 million. There's a 740 million. So they are a bigger company than me. Their revenue numbers also, if you look at, are bigger than me. Mine was 1,200 odd revenue. If you look at the exact number, 1,236. Whereas for them, as I scroll down, it's 1,322. So they are a bigger company in terms of absolute numbers, in terms of asset base also. That is why their ROCE is higher than me, but profit wise we are 5 times more profitable than them. If you look at the non-current asset turnover, mine is much better. This showcases that with less assets, I am able to generate more revenue, better revenue, efficient. The gearing for both the companies is pretty much in the same zone. showcasing that maybe this is the market trend, the market strength, this is how everybody is moving forward, or everybody wants to leave some debt capacity for new expansion, new opportunities, which after this financial analysis section, you can see how I did it. It's much more detailed in my full 3-hour pre-scene analysis. But this, if you see, is giving you an overview of the entire company. So now to the news report section, and in the news report section, they often, include or a lot of exam questions have themes which are linked to the news report sections. Students often don't look at the news reports closely, but we very closely look at the news report section because that is where often the exam themes come up. So the first is a question, or rather the first news report is a question from some people. So question from Thomas, age 11, what are drink cartons made of? So drink cartons are made from layers of different materials. It would be both difficult and expensive to make a safe and effective carton from a single layer alone. So maybe there is an innovation of a single layer carton. That could be a theme, and based on that you could be asked target costing. Okay, how can target costing be used to decide the price of a single layer carton that we have now designed, for example? So target costing is from P2. So paperboard, plastic and aluminium all come together as different layers, and that's how your cartons are made. The second question is from Mara. She persuaded her parents to start buying drinks in cartons rather than metal cans. But in a school project, she came to know that cartons cannot be recycled easily. So should we go back to cans? Because whether cartons can be recycled depends on the local government in your area. Most local governments accept cartons for recycling, but some do not. So the recyclability, the sustainability is being questioned. Where recycling facilities exist, the paper is separated, plastic and aluminum are separated. Where recycling facilities are absent, they are disposed of as household waste, they are sent to a landfill where they keep lying forever. So maybe an investment in recycling facilities is something that Cartn invests in, and that could be a theme because of this question. Next, the next article is about real recycling requires circularity. Now, recent research published by the University of Central City suggests that many consumers confuse repurposing for recycling, creating a false impression of the sustainability. Now, recycling is where the entire machine or the material is saturated to the original state. Clear glass becomes new glass if it's a glass bottle. Repurposing is where plastic bottles to build insulation, it creates let's say this is now used for something else. It still requires new materials to repurpose this. Now essentially recycling is bringing it back to its original state. Repurposing is meaning using that same item, using that same product now for a different purpose, but involving another material or involving another process to actually reuse it again. So recycling and repurposing are two different things. Recycling returns materials to its original state. Repurposing converts the end-of-life products into something different, such as plastic bottles being turned into building insulation. But it still needs to be cut, it still needs to be processed a little bit, new materials will be required. So repurposing is not the same as recycling. So product design plays a large part in enabling genuine recycling. So there could be a lot of criticism about our recycling, about our repurposing, which could be a theme in the exam, because recycling and repurposing are different things. The last article speaks about the career as a design engineer. So this will be directly related to my to my consultancy arm, because that's where engineers are hired, right? And also within my manufacturing arm, because we have a software which helps customers design their own packaging. Now, most companies are constantly innovating in the race to develop new and improved products. Innovation requires a number of skills, including vision and all of that. So design engineers support senior managers, they help with computer-aided design, they help with prototyping. So design engineering is a critical function within companies like Cartn. So maybe the use of we have a new digital design department which comes up, for example, or a new design department which comes up. Then should it be set as a cost center, profit center, responsibility accounting scenario? Any scenario can come up, but these are clear hints that they're providing us. So you can see how this summary overview still helped you understand every single part of the company. If you want to dive deeper in, our full pre-scene analysis, 3+ hours, that's not it. The pre-scene, yes, but it comes with our revision notes, our revision guides, which are mapped to the blueprint areas. It comes with 25 mock questions. So I kept speaking about different topics, target costing and, your business models, your IFRS 15, all of these different topics that I discussed. We create actually exactly exam styled questions based on these topics. And then we test you on them. You write them, we check them, we correct them, we send back with suggested answers, with model answers, so you understand where your weakness is. And we divide this set wise. Then you take the next set, we repeat the process. You take the next set, we repeat the process. So essentially you are revising important areas, you revised your company, you are practicing your writing on important areas. This helps you prepare with confidence and walk into the exam ready to perform. That's the system which we have created to make sure you have a positive exam approach, and to make sure no leaf is left unturned, and to make sure that everything that you need for your exam comes from us. This entire guide has been created for you. So if you're finding it helpful, it's now time to jump into one of our courses to make sure we can use the remaining time well and ace this exam. So coming back, if you look at it, we understood what the exam is. Just some minutes ago you knew nothing about the MCS. Because of this interactive guide, you know how the MCS is structured, how it's delivered, what happens on exam day, what is the pre-scene, how I should do my revision using the blueprints, using the I-CAN statements, what the company's overview is, which means what does Cartn exactly do. And now to a very, very interesting part, to a very, very exciting part rather, which is the important topics revision. Now I was again repeatedly mentioning topics. I was repeatedly going through topics when I went through the pre-scene overview with you. I was saying, okay, this comes from P2, this comes from F2, this comes from E2, and we do the same thing within our course as well. When we do our detailed pre-scene, we create a list of topics called the Finntutors pre-scene topic list of the most important topics which get tested, of the most important topics which keep coming up, which are very, very prevalent related to your company. What I did to further help you is certain topics which keep resurfacing. I want you to revise them, and I want to help you revise them, and that is why we have created a one of a kind, again, most important MCS topics to first revise list. When I click on it, my MCS first revise topic list opens up. My MCS important topic revision area opens up. You can access it, you can download it, and you can use it for your studies. I'm not saying that these are the only topics that come up in the exam. Absolutely not. But these are major topics which keep repeating and are linked to the blueprint areas, are very relevant to the Cartn pre-scene, and that is why we have put them in these revision notes for you, so that you can also first focus on them and you can also first revise from them. So what does this look like? I'll just run you through what it looks like, because this will also give you a guide of how to study. We've already dealt with it, that for every topic I want to be able to explain that topic in my own simple words, in my own simple understanding. These notes help you exactly with the same. So I welcome you to your MCS revision notes. They have been put together by us to be clear, direct, and exam focused. As you work through these materials, please keep relating every topic back to your pre-scene company. So okay, NPV, in my own words, how can it be used for Cartn? Transfer pricing, in my own words, how is it relevant to Cartn? So keep thinking about your company. We're taking it one step further. Whether you are just getting started, these notes will help you. Whether you are deep into your revision, these notes will help you. We have created them in such a way that wherever you are, whatever stage of preparation, you will be able to use them well. So let's take capital investment appraisal. Blueprint core area A, I can statement number 1. So we call it A1. I can select appropriate investment appraisal techniques. So I directly mapped out the investment appraisal techniques for you, NPV, IRR, all of these. So there are 7 techniques which I have listed down for you. Not just that, I give you an explanation of each technique over here. I give you how you need to know each technique. So NPV is an investment appraisal technique used to decide whether a project is financially worthwhile. It compares the money a project is expected to generate in the future with the money invested today. You see, I'm not giving you any sums, formulas, calculations. No, I'm helping you understand the concept in an easy way, because that's the focus of the MCS exam. And then even in the step-by-step calculation, I'll tell you that okay, NPV is calculated this way. First we identify the cash flows, then discount the cash flows, then we remove the initial investment, then you make the decision. So if the NPV is greater than 0, you accept it. If it's less than 0, you reject it, because the project doesn't create any value. Simple advantages, disadvantages for NPV. Some assumptions used within the NPV calculation. So essentially, I gave you a breakdown of NPV in a very simple tabular way in 2 pages, 3 pages. So essentially, what did we focus on? Concept. What did we focus on? Knowing what the NPV concept is in simple, easy words. Same way we'll do for IRR. What is it used for? What is the key idea? And what are the advantages and disadvantages of using IRR? This we do for each of the capital investment appraisal techniques. I've just shown you a sample over here for 2, but within our study notes, this is directly taken from my study notes. So within our study notes, all of the aspects will be one by one introduced for you. Next topic we've taken up is pricing strategies. This is again core area A, but I can statement 3. Appropriate pricing strategies. Target costing is a favorite MCS question. So what is target costing? We explain in a very simple way the key principles, the stages, and the advantages. Simple. 1.5 page. Target costing finished. Same way we'll do for life cycle costing. Why does it matter? And then we'll always keep giving you the case study exam connection, so that you are not mugging things up. Because if you sit and mug anything up, I can guarantee you will forget it, because there is a lot to cover. If you understand a concept in your own simple words, I can guarantee that you will be able to apply it and use it when the time comes. That is now my job. Once you give me the pre-scene through my pre-scene analysis knowledge, once you give me the revision through my study notes, then how to apply it, how to use it, I can very easily teach you, and that becomes my job within my case study twice a week live lessons that I can easily do for you. But students falter on knowing the company, on knowing the topics in your own words. So then molding the case study answer becomes quite difficult. That is why we first focus on revision, pre-scene, and then slowly move to mock question writing. Same way we picked up WAC, weighted average cost of capital, core area A, I can statement 6. So I can explain implications of changes in WAC. So we told you what WAC means. We told you that WAC includes cost of equity, cost of debt. So if cost of equity changes, WAC changes, cost of debt changes, WAC changes. Challenges in calculating WAC. So an overview of WAC provided for you over here. Next, same way we did it for project management. Now project management tools and techniques often tested in the exam. This is your blueprint section B, core area, your core area B, I can statement 1. So what are the project management tools? If you're planning for activities and costs, these are your tools with a simple case study perspective. If you're planning for quality, let's say we want to focus on the quality of the product. What are the project management tools which I can use? Suggestions are over here. Time is very important for me, which means I need to deliver the product on time, which is one of Cartn's, remember, core areas or core values as well. So we can use NAT charts, milestones, control gates. You can remember it if you have studied it this way. If these kinds of links are present in your studying, otherwise, yes, you go through everything from the textbook, but you have no case study relevance and you have no case study idea of how to apply it, it's not going to be a very progressive study approach. You will have to keep coming back, which will be a waste of time. Next topic, we have sources of finance. Blueprint B, I can statement 4. Suitable sources of finance. So we told you, long-term finance, debt, equity, these are the options. Long-term finance is the focus of your F2 syllabus. Short-term finance has been tested in the operational level, so it isn't given detail over here. But debt, equity, and other financing options. You see how simply this is presented. I don't want you to learn everything and mug up everything. Absolutely not. But these notes are showcasing that we help you focus on only important stuff with case study relevance, with examples, which now you will be able to use for free as part of this integrative guide or ultimate guide, because we want to help you. So please download these notes from the most important topics. These are the most important topics which keep coming up. So to help you with your theory revision on the same, we have created this PDF file for you. Now inside our full MCS course, like I've always been saying, we highlight important topics, right? But we test you on these important topics. Within our 25 mock questions, we test you on a whole bunch, 50 plus topics. So every scenario, you have practiced. So when you go into the exam, my students often tell me that, it was pretty much similar to the experience of the mocks. And I never say that the same topics will come up. But the course prepares you on writing, reasoning. So whatever they ask me in the exam, I don't care, because I have written, I have practiced, and my mind is ready to break down a question. This is what these important topics are bound to do for you. Just popping in quietly to ask you if you have any questions while following this, success program that we have created. You can simply email me directly on help@finntutors.com, or even better, you can directly WhatsApp me. My WhatsApp number is on the screen right now. You can directly WhatsApp me. We will guide you and we will show you the path for any questions that you may have, because naturally, this is the first time you're taking the exam or you're resetting, so you might have questions. Even though this success program runs you through all aspects, there will definitely be questions that you may have which we are happy to solve for you, which we are happy to help you with. So do reach out. So up until now, the build-up was so that we can arrive to this stage of this interactive guide where we introduce the most important part of this exam, which is the examiner expectations and your mock writing system. So see, we understood the exam, we understood the base for this exam, we understood our company, we understood how we should revise, what we should revise. We understood that through our let's say essential topic list. We understood that through the blueprints, through the core areas. We now need to understand how we draw from both of these knowledge areas and actually put it down so that we get marks. Because in the exam you are not given marks for thinking about ideas, you are given marks based on what what the examiner sees in your answer. So essentially it all comes down to how you write, how you detail, and how you explain. Because the pre-scene, the topics have given you the right ideas, but putting down those ideas is where we will generate credit, and that is what we now move to. This is the area which students completely overlook, do not pay attention on, and hence end up losing major credit. Because technical knowledge alone does not help you pass. The examiners want to see that you think and behave like a finance manager, not like somebody who's remembered everything in E2, P2 and F2. So this exam is a lot about how you communicate your ideas, how you showcase your professional judgment, which is the direction of the company, and how you use your business acumen overall to suggest the right path, right direction, right step for your business. So all of this leads to a mindset which we need to use when we are writing mock questions. So everything from here is about how to actually write, how to actually answer. So up until now we've covered basics of this exam. We are now moving to the most important section, which is mock question writing, and for that reason I have picked one of my questions which we used in the May 2026 attempt to help you, to guide you, and to showcase the parts of an exam, or to showcase sections of an exam. This is just a sample question which we have picked up. Using this sample question, we will be understanding the entire process of mock question writing. So let's read this sample question. Questions in the exam are going to be the exact same style, exact same structure, exact same pattern. Everything that we do and all of our 25 mock questions are exactly like the exam and what you would expect within the exam. This is just a sample of one of our questions. We do 25 like this. Whatever the pre-scene, whatever the company is, all questions will be related to that company only. So case study question looks like this. Let me read the entire question with you, and then we will dissect part by part of a question. So okay, the first thing, or rather while going through the question itself, I'll give you its parts. So first part is, it's always going to be set or scheduled like an email where your manager is reaching out to you with a subject where something has gone wrong or a new area is being explored. So a new theme is being created. So number one is I've listed them down for you, things to identify. Number one is the unseen information. So what we want to first understand is, what is the unseen? What we want to understand is, what is the theme that they are setting? So okay, my manager has reached out to me, but what is the theme? Manager says that okay, it is May 2026. I have brought you an extract from the minutes of this morning's board meeting. I need your advice on two matters. The first is, recommend with reasons the disclosures Cartn could make in its integrated report regarding natural capital, human capital, social and relationship capital in relation to its recent sustainability initiatives in packaging operations and in consultancy support to customers. 40% of my marks. Next, I explain how changes in the relative strengths of currencies will affect Cartn's reported performance following an additional investment by the parent company in its overseas subsidiary. So, okay, when I read the email, they have asked me two specific requirements, but in step number 1, what I need to understand is what is the unseen, what is the theme. So that is being presented within the reference material for you. Now the pre-seen is your company information which you already have. The unseen, like they like to call it, is just a theme which they set in the exam. You've not seen it because this is a new question for you. So they set a new theme over here, and that is why they call it a unseen. So what is the unseen over here? They're telling you that the operations director reported on recent initiatives to improve the sustainability of Cartn's packaging operations. So the theme is revolving around sustainability. These include the development of more efficient laminated materials, reducing waste in production processes, and supporting customers in designing packaging systems that minimize environmental impact. So it's the development of new laminated materials to reduce waste. These initiatives rely on the expertise of Cartn's engineers and strengthen relationships with customers and stakeholders. So you see how the unseen is being set, how a theme is being provided to you. Let's continue reading. Cartn's consultancy division has also played a key role in advising customers on packaging solutions that improve product shelf life and reduce food waste. So consultancy is also playing a key role over here. Remember, I have two parts of the business, manufacturing as well as consultancy. This has strengthened relationships with customers in a better way. The board noted that these activities contribute to Cartn's broader sustainability objectives, including reducing environmental impact, improving operational efficiency, and supporting customers in meeting their own sustainability targets. This is still the theme which is being set. The board also discussed plans to increase sustainability and capacity investment in several overseas subsidiaries in order to support future growth. Parent company will raise the finance in its home currency and invest the funds in subsidies. So essentially there are two themes now if you look at it. The first theme is all about sustainability, new packaging, consultancy department. The second one is all about parent raising the finance and then giving it to subsidiaries. The proposed additional investment will increase the group's exposure to foreign currency movements. This is the entire question, the same pattern like you can expect in the exam. So the entire question has now been read. There are 7 parts of the question which I will want you to dissect, which I will want you to always divide. The first part is the unseen information. Understand the unseen. Understand what the theme is. So the unseen is the new information given to you on exam day. It introduces 2 separate issues over here. The first one is sustainability, your laminated materials, and the second one is increase in investment in overseas subsidiaries. So when I read the question, the first thing that I do is, okay, what is the unseen? What is the new information? What is the theme? Understand that. Second, after the theme is understood, I directly attack the task. The task is where the marks are. Please very, very clearly understand, students often fail because they write an answer which is not related to the task. They write an answer for which they want the question to be. They don't write an answer to what the exact question actually is. Wanting and what it is different. So please isolate the task. I always say attack the task, read the task, reread the task. So when you read the entire question, the first thing is I'm understanding the unseen. The second thing is I'm going back to the task and I'm reading the task. Because the task gives you the key. The task gives you the direction. So first task is recommend with reasons the disclosures we should make in our integrated report regarding human, natural, social and relationship capital. The disclosures that we should make, recommendation they are asking me. Secondly, they are telling me explain how future changes in the relative strengths of currencies will affect our reported performance. So second thing is explain how the change in the currencies will affect our reported performance. So isolate the task and understand exactly what they're asking you, which is the second requirement. So there are two tasks: recommend disclosures that we could make in our integrated report, and explain how future currency movements may affect the reported performance. So very clearly understand what they are exactly asking you, and this is where your light bulb should happen, which means integrated report, okay, I have revised it from F2. Your foreign currency IAS-21, again I have revised it from F2. So essentially understand, now link back to your syllabus topics. If you can, that light bulb should happen. If you have revised properly, if you followed my pre-scene properly, we have already highlighted these as important topics for you. They are directly relevant to your core areas as well. So okay, that's only step 2. Step 3 is understand the mark weightage. This is where students often falter because they don't understand how much to write. This is where points 3, 4 and 5 actually come into the picture. So understanding the weightage is absolutely key. See, what CIMA says is every student is first going to be marked out of 100 marks. We already discussed that it's going to be a 4-question exam, 45 minutes. I showed you the pattern of the exam. I showed you how there are 4 questions, one after the other, 45 minutes each. So each question is looking like this. First question comes on your screen, 45 minutes. Now this question is worth 25 marks. Why? Because entire exam is first marked out of 100 marks for everybody. Whichever route you come from, 100 marks is the total allocation for the entire exam. Now in your exam there are going to be different variants. Essentially there are 3 variants when you go for a sitting. So for the August sitting or the November sitting, any sitting has 3 variants, which means 3 different exams, all based on Cartn, all based on your pre-scene company, but having different questions. Now so let's say I sit my exam today. After 1 hour somebody else sits. The computer randomly assigns these variants. I can get variant 1, somebody else can get variant 2. They will be based on Cartn, they will be based on my pre-scene, but they will have different questions. Now because it has different questions, there is a possibility that paper number 1 or variant 1 is a little bit more tricky because it has trickier topics like IAS-21, transfer pricing, for example, I'm saying. Variant 2 has some tricky topics but some easy topics as well, because essentially we have to test you on all blueprint areas. So some variants can have tricky topics, some variants can have little bit less tricky topics. There won't be a huge difference, but a little bit of a difference for sure, because questions are different. So it's not fair to mark both of these students equally, right? So what CIMA does is blanket. First, let's mark everybody out of 100 marks. So, and then whatever mark you score out of 100 is weightage or is weighted depending on the difficulty of your variant, and then your total comes out of 150. That is why in the exam you need to score 80 out of 150 to pass. 150 is the scaled score. So let's say you scored 60 out of 100. It will be multiplied by a weightage of, for example, 1.8 if you had a tricky paper. For example, your total out of 150 should be above 80 to pass. Same way you scored 40 out of, or let's say you scored 70 out of 100, but you got a little bit of an easier paper. So the weightage will be 1.5, for example. So essentially whatever your mark is out of 100 will be multiplied by a weightage depending on the difficulty of your variant, which only CIMA decides. Nobody knows this weightage. It's completely arbitrary, completely decided by CIMA. So your score out of 100 is multiplied by a weightage, and then your final score comes out of 150. Now my question is, we don't know the weightage, we cannot influence it, we cannot control it, we don't even know it. So rather than predicting things, let's completely remove the weightage, because the 100 marks are still available. The 100 marks are always going to be available. So let's care about what is in my control, which is the 100 marks. This is why every exam is first marked out of 100 marks. If there are 4 questions, like we already know, the value of each question becomes 100 divided by 4, 25 marks. So this entire question which you are seeing on screen is worth 25 marks. From that, they are telling you that task number 1 is 40% of those marks. So if the total is 25, task 1 is 40% of those marks. So 40 upon 100 into 25, 10 marks. Task 1 is worth 10 marks. Task 2 is naturally worth the remaining 15 marks. Now it could be any percentage, 50-50, 40-60. Essentially it's always, even if you look at the past papers, 50-50. So 50-50, 40-60, it can be any of these. But we don't care, because my calculation remains the same. Every question is standard 25 marks. If task A is worth 50%, it's 12.5 marks. Task B is worth 60, another 50%, 12.5 marks. Same way if they change it to 60-40, we know it's 15 and 10 and 15. So essentially know this calculation and know how it's derived. Why? Because this directly tells you how much to write. How? Because CIMA says one well explained point, one well explained argument is roughly going to give you 3 to 4 marks. This is a rough estimate which we have created to help you understand how much to aim, how much to write. Deeper on, I will explain the actual exam marking system, and it is very much correlated to this ballpark figure which I have given to you. So don't worry, this is tried, tested, has worked in the past, and this course has successfully delivered results. That is why we hold the Global Pass Rate Excellence Award for 4 years in a row. So you don't need to worry about any suggestions that we make, they are well founded. So okay, one well explained point, one well explained argument is roughly giving me 3 to 4 marks. So for a 10 mark section, I know that I roughly need to write 3 points minimum. If I have time, I can add a fourth. For a 15 mark section, I know I have to write roughly 4 to 5 points. This is a ballpark figure which we are providing for you so that at the onset itself you understand how much to write. So we covered, first we read the entire question, we understand the theme. Second, we completely focus on the task because we only have to provide answer for the task, nothing else. Third, we understand the weightage. So we understand the marks for each task. Over here it's 40, 60. So essentially it's 10 marks and 15 marks. We understood how the scoring works, how much to write. So essentially 40% is 10 marks, so I'm aiming for 3 points. 60% is 15 marks, so I'm aiming for again 4 odd points as a ballpark figure to start with. So remember, these are well explained points, well explained arguments. So up until now we are only dealing with the planning part. How to write, I'm coming to that. Okay, we decided I need to write 3 points, but what does a point look like? We are coming to that. This section is only for the planning aspect. So okay, all of that done. Now we also need to acknowledge that there is reference material. Every question will have a reference material. It will give you extra information, extra help, extra material. And last, verbs. Please pay attention to the verbs. The verbs give the direction. Even if you look at the blueprints, if we go back to our blueprints, even if you look at the blueprints, you will see a lot of verbs being repeated. For example, recommend, identify, analyze, explain, recognize, recommend, identify, again, select and apply, interpret. These are all verbs. Compare, recommend. Now these are the same verbs which CIMA tries to repeat within mock questions, or rather within exam questions as well. If you pick up any of the past papers by CIMA, you'll see these verbs being repeated. So it's only smart for us to understand what the verbs mean, so we can essentially, provide an answer to exactly what they want. Over here, if you see, the verb is recommend and explain. Task 1 is recommend, task 1 is explain. What does recommend mean logically? Recommend means recommend. Tell them what the disclosure should be. That's the direction for task 1. Explain, on the other hand, means explain how future changes will affect the reported performance. So okay, this is how it will affect it. I know I have to write 4 points. So okay, this will be the first effect, this will be the second effect, this will be the third effect. I know I have to explain properly the effect. So clearly explain the impact of the currency movements. So essentially, if you understand the verb, it helps you in the direction. If they're asking you identify, you identify. If they're asking you identify and explain, you first identify and then you explain. If they're asking you recommend, you first recommend. If they're asking you recommend with reasons, you first recommend and then give your reasons. If they're asking you explain, then you explain. Essentially, follow the verbs which they are providing for you. As always, we have understood that this can cause students to trip up, and that is why we have created a list of verbs with simple explanations for you over here. In the MCS, generally they use category 4 and category 5 verbs like recommend, like discuss, explain, interpret, identify. So essentially, this is all simple English at the end of the day, but it becomes very important for us to exactly narrow down and exactly focus on the verb which they have provided. And that is why we have a section completely, given to the verbs. Now, whenever you look at a question, now your brain should take you to these 7 areas. Okay, read the question well, understand what the theme is, understand what the reference material is. So understand the theme, understand the task, understand the percentage, understand how much to write, understand the reference material, understand the verb. Essentially, if you do these 6-7 things which I have pointed out, you are planning for the question. This is only planning. We haven't started writing yet. Your planning for the question will get very, 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 very solid. This is why studying with a tuition provider makes your life simple, because I'm sure you miss these nuances when you are studying by yourself. So take this as your advantage and imagine if in our twice a week live lessons, Tuesday, Thursday, we pick up mock questions, we discuss them, you write them, we check them, we discuss them. Write them, check them, write them, discuss them. So essentially, you are making mistakes, you are learning. You're making mistakes, we are correcting, you are learning. And in our live classes, you ask your questions, we clear your doubts, we show you better tips and tricks to keep refining your answers. That takes your prep to the next level, and that is why we do 25 mock questions in total. This is only one example for you. Now, before I move on, we have a Finntutors planning framework which we have developed. We're calling it the 3+3+3 method. It is something which has been developed by us, created by us, to help you use your planning time in a better way. So the 7 steps that I explained was essentially what we are doing, but we are breaking it up into 3+3+3, which means the first 3 minutes you read the entire question 1 and you understand the unseen. The next 3 minutes you exactly zero in, narrow in, and focus only on the task. Understand the value of the task, the importance of the task, the percentage of the task, the marks of the task. And then the last 3 minutes is where you create your subheadings so you don't go wrong. Subheadings as in exactly related to the question, create your subheading. Exactly related to the question, exactly related to the task, create your subheading. So your subheading for the first task would be recommending with reasons the disclosure that Cartn should make in its integrated report. Second, explaining how future changes in relative strengths of currencies will affect my reported performance. You saw what I'm doing? I'm keeping the subheadings exactly the same as the task. So this is our foolproof 3+3+3 method. It's essentially the same 7 things which I have highlighted over here, but telling you that with practice, you should try to aim to get your planning done within 10-11 minutes or so. Maximum you can take is 12 minutes, a 4+4+4. I ideally suggest try to meet the 3+3+3 as much as possible. If you need 1 or 2 minutes extra in any of the sections, you still have that leeway. This will help you understand the exact requirement even before you begin. Because if you don't know the requirement and you begin, you go in the wrong path. You go in the wrong direction. What we want to do is, we want to make sure that we essentially focus on exactly what the examiners have asked me. The 3+3+3 or the Finntutors planning framework will definitely help you with this. So read the entire question, understand the unseen. Second, isolate the task, understand the value of the task, how much you are going to write. Okay, 10 marks or 3 points, 15 marks or 4 points, understand all of that. And then the last is focus on your task and create your subheadings depending on the verb which is in front of you. Use the verb within your subheadings. It will guide you, it will help you, it will showcase the path for you. This was the Finntutors planning framework. Try this. Practice this, please. This will not come overnight. We always recommend practice, and we do 25 questions of practice so students understand by trial and error, you know what is working for them, which method is working for them. Are they doing 4 plus 3 plus 3? Are they doing 3 plus 4 plus 3? Whatever. You know, this is something that comes with practice. So if you are studying with us, within my mock questions, it will give you enough practice. If you are self-studying, I would recommend writing based on the past papers which are freely available on the CGMA Study Hub. They will be based on a different pre-scene, on a different case study, but still you can look at the question, you can practice the 3 plus 3 plus 3, keeping your pre-scene company in mind so that your planning is solid. Try to practice the 3 plus 3 plus 3. I can guarantee it will give you good direction, good steps, and good progress. This is all planning. Now actually writing. Up until now, we only discussed planning. Now we want to discuss writing, detailing, explaining. This is where the Finntutors writing approach, writing framework comes into the picture, which is PEA. So there might be a lot of questions. Okay, you're telling me to write 3 points. So you're telling me to write 4 points. But what does a point mean? Can I just say that, okay, natural capital means this related to the question? Can I just say, you know, intellectual capital means this, social relationship capital means this, one line each? Is that a well explained point? Is that you being a good finance manager? Ask yourself. Absolutely not. A good finance manager will provide an answer to the specific situation and to the specific company. So everything you write has to use information from the question and has to be related to your pre-scene company, which is Cartn for this example. Whatever your point you are writing has to be well explained, has to be well applied. So that is why we have created the PEA approach to help you reach higher marks, to help you understand how much to write. So P means the point. So make your point. E means the explanation, the overall explanation. This is where you explain your point a little bit and you use the information from the question itself to help you explain. A means application. You think about what does this mean for Cartn? What does this mean for my business? What does this mean for my company? That's the application. So for every point that you write, we want to make sure that we do the PEA. This will help me write a well explained point, a well explained argument, and that is what CIMA is giving marks for. And this is the Finntutors writing framework which I want everybody to please try and incorporate as much as possible, because if you don't practice this, it's going to be very difficult for you to get your credit. For our students, we will give you enough opportunities to practice through our mock questions, but this is just a direction that we are providing. So to help you locate a good well explained point, it's on your screen. I've taken an example of one point from each task. So okay, natural capital is my first point. Now natural capital refers to the stock of natural resources and environmental conditions that a business depends or affects on. Simple. This is my F2 knowledge. Over here, this is logical as well, but this is a concept within your F2 syllabus, integrated reporting. Now, Cartn should disclose its use of and impact of natural capital by specifying reductions in material waste and energy consumption resulting from its more efficient laminated materials. See very clearly what was the task and the verb in the task. Recommend the disclosures that we should make. So I am recommending the disclosure. I am telling them that make a disclosure on the use and impact on natural capital because of this specific new efficient laminated materials which we have introduced. I am exactly recommending. They asked me recommend the disclosures. So following the verb, I recommended the disclosure. Then I explained it. We can confidently disclose this as we have developed more efficient laminated materials and reduced waste in the production process as part of our sustainability initiatives. If you think about this, this is a direct point from the reference material. So what did I say? The explanation generally will help you and will come from the question itself. You just have to be aware to probe this. So the first, my point was the actual disclosure. What should the disclosure be? So disclose the use and impact of natural capital by specifying the reductions. Second, explain it using information from the question. Because we have already developed efficient laminated materials, we can make this disclosure. Last, apply it. By disclosing these reductions, Cartn demonstrates to stakeholders that its packaging operations are genuinely becoming more sustainable. Without quantified disclosures, environmental claims remain vague and fail to provide decision useful information. This is particularly important for Cartn given the increasing scrutiny companies are facing about waste management. Remember our news analysis, news report section, it mentioned this, right? That companies are not very much managing waste properly. So this is where I used the pre-scene. So essentially, if you see, a well explained point always will include PEA and is generally, I'm saying, just for a general purpose, again ballpark figure, 5 to 6 good sentences, 6 odd good sentences make a well explained point. Again, this is a ballpark figure. There is no one way of writing, one right point, one correct point, absolutely not. This exam is a subjective exam. So, nobody can tell you that natural capital has to be written this way and this way only. No, you can write natural capital any way you want. You can explain it any way you want. But I have chosen to write it this way so that there is a clear flow of writing and so that I am able to write more. If your ideas are all mixed up, you'll end up writing 2-3 sentences and move on. But that's not the requirement of this exam. What is the requirement of this exam? To provide a disclosure in this situation, and that disclosure has to be well explained and well detailed, well related to your company. Because if you don't do that, then I can get the answer from AI as well, from Google as well. I have hired a finance manager so that he provides an answer to me which is relevant, related, rooted to my company and my company only. That's natural capital, one way of writing. The same way you will write relationship capital. The same way you will write intellectual capital. Whichever the 3 capitals they have asked, the same way when you explain it, that's where you get the marks. And then you move on to your second task, translation. So you start with your IS-21, you move to your second point, your third point, your fourth point. You see how much you need to write and how quickly you'll need to think. To help you with this, you need a solid planning approach. That's why I gave so much time on 3+3+3. You need to have revised your IS-21 syllabus area. That is why I first started with revision. Because if you don't know IS-21, you can't write the first line of the second task. It's a technical topic. That is why revision is important. If you don't know Cartn, if you don't know the company, if you don't know the pre-scene, then naturally you can't do the apply part. So again, you are missing out on marks. Essentially, all of the important areas of this exam I have already covered for you step by step by step. So this method is just showing you that if you do a good PEA for each point that you write, you get higher marks. So planning, we are using the Finntutors planning approach, 3 plus 3 plus 3, within which we are trying to do our 6-7 things, identify the 6-7 things from the question. Then we move on to writing. Once my subheadings are ready, my verb is ready, I need to know that for each point, I will first write the point, then I will explain it using information from the question, and then I will apply it using information from the pre-scene. Asking, what does it mean for Cartn? How does this affect Cartn? These 5 to 6 sentences will be your well-explained point. This is not a listing exam. Students feel that I will list a host of points. No. They only want the 3 best points in this situation. They only want the 4 best points on how future changes in relative strengths will affect my reported performance. You have to choose the best 3 points in task 1, the best 4 points in task 2, and present only those. They don't want a list of 7-8 points. No. They want your judgment. Explain how the future changes will affect. So they are sure that you will only give them those future changes which matter. Recommend with reasons the disclosures. They are sure that you will only give them those disclosures which are key for my company. One for natural, one for human, one for social. Whatever they have asked you. So limit your points but explain your points using the PEA approach well. Using the PEA approach in a solid way. Now, how does CIMA actually mark? How does the marking actually work? Now, what is this levels-based approach? You might wonder, right? Now, I have already subtly included this for you. I have already subtly introduced this for you without any confusion. You remember when we spoke about PEA? Now, when you are doing PEA for any of your points or for all of your points, when you keep in mind, okay, I have to write 5-6 sentences. When I make it PEA, you automatically achieve level 3 answers. So what CIMA examiners do is, they will first read your answer. And then after reading it, they will place it into level 1 category, level 2 category, level 3 category, and then your marks will obviously vary accordingly. If you are in the level 3 band, your marks will be higher. If you are in the level 2 band, a little bit lower. Level 1, very much low, and we cannot expect to pass this exam. So just to give you an example now, the first task was recommend with reasons the disclosures Cartn could make in its integrated report. Now a level 1 point will say that okay, Cartn should disclose information about skills and training. Full stop. Now this is very level 1 because this is very general, not related to Cartn, not related to the situation, not related to the pre-scene, not related to anything. I can just pick this up and put it in any answer and it will make sense. It's generic. It could apply to any business. So that's level 1, very limited marks. Now level 2 would be you have explained it well, but you've not applied it, which means you did the P, you did the E, but you forgot the A, the application to Cartn. So let's say you wrote Cartn could disclose information about employee skills, training, expertise. This would be relevant because employees help develop new products and improve business performance. Stakeholders may also find this useful because it demonstrates how the company is investing in its workforce. So you see the point is clear, it's reasonable. However, it could apply to any company. You've not said what does this mean for Cartn specific activities, or any specificities from the question have not been picked up. So I will say that you explained it well, but you forgot to actually apply it to the situation, apply it to Cartn. That is why you will fall within level 2. Now this same point can become level 3 if we explain it properly. So if you say Cartn could disclose information about the expertise of its engineers who helped develop more efficient laminated materials and reduce waste within packaging operations, use the question. This would demonstrate the strength of our human capital because employee knowledge and technical skills are very important for my sustainability objectives. The integrated report could also disclose training programs and specialist sustainability knowledge developed within the engineering team, showing stakeholders how employee capabilities contribute. You see, this point is fully applied to Cartn's circumstances. It directly references the engineers mentioned in the scenario, their expertise, their link, Cartn's sustainability objectives. This is advice for Cartn. It's not a textbook answer. So this is level 3. The takeaway is most students can identify that human capital relates to skills and expertise. But the high scoring marks are only achieved if you speak about the situation, if you speak about Cartn. So essentially, if you follow the Finntutors PEA approach, with practice, you know it's not rigidly PEA. You just have to keep in your mind, okay, have I explained it? Have I applied it? You are stuck somewhere. Okay, have I explained it? Have I applied it? Thinking this way will help you make sure that you explain, that you apply properly, and this is what will take your answers closer to level 3, and that is where your marks are going to come from, or the higher band marks are going to come from. So just to give you an example, this is what the actual marking scheme looks like for which CIMA creates. So we create marking schemes like this and we mark you based on these marking schemes within our mocks as well. This is just a sample of a marking scheme for this question. Now every marking scheme is specific to the question, because once the question changes, the marking scheme changes. So there is no set layout, set pattern which we can follow. But this is to give you guidance of how CIMA will award marks. See, essentially task 1 was 10 marks, right? And there were 3 capitals which we had to explain, or disclosures for 3 capitals which we had to put out. There were 3 capitals, naturally this will become your 3 points. So natural capital, if you don't write anything, you get 0. If you just identify natural capital, you get 1 mark because you've done level 1 work. If you go on and explain a disclosure with little bit scenario link, you do some explanations, I'll put you in the level 2 band depending on how you wrote, how much you wrote. So your marks will be 2 or 3 depending on how we like your explanation. They become level 3 if you make it specific to this situation. If you make it specific to Cartn, it automatically reaches level 3, and that's where we are giving you those full credits, 3 to 4 marks. So essentially the rough breakdown is 3 marks for each, because it's 10 marks, so roughly 3 marks for each, and this is how it would be split. So depending on how much you wrote and how you wrote it, the examiner will place you in a level, and then based on that level, corresponding to that level, your marks will be provided. Same way for task B, it says explain how future changes will affect my reported performance. This was, remember, 15 marks. So I was looking at 4 points. The first point could be income statement effect. The second point can be related to balance sheet effect. Third one can be the equity investment structure. And this way you can write your 4 points. But having those points is good. Again, have you put it, or rather have you put it down and then you've explained it and then you've applied it? That's where you're going to level 3. If you simply write that, okay, exchange rates, if exchange rates change, our income statement, or rather there will be a translation effect, full stop, 0. This I can get from anywhere. How you write it, how you showcase your IAS 21 knowledge in relation to the specific situation which they have in front of us, that's where your credit will be awarded. So if you follow the Finntutors planning approach, the 3 plus 3 plus 3, you very clearly know how much to write. First task, 3 points. Second task, 4 points. Okay, fine. After that, you're following the Finntutors writing approach, PEA. If you do that for each of those points, you are automatically reaching level 3. If you get stuck somewhere, ask yourself, okay, can I explain it better? Can I apply it better? Because that will take it to level 3. Now you know what examiners are awarding marks for. Now you know how the marking works. So it becomes a very smart position and situation for us to be in, because we can now directly attack the areas where my marks are and not make the common mistakes that students do. So if you see through this interactive guide, we have given you so much value. Now imagine if you are there in my twice a week live lessons, if you are following my class recordings also within our courses. Each class deals with a specific situation in depth, and these lessons are run live. So we know the problems students are facing and we adjust our classes accordingly to make sure that we can support you. That's the value of studying with us, studying with a tuition provider who has delivered results, because we've been doing this for years now. So, okay, what are the common mistakes? Now, all of these areas which I covered for you are specifically the common mistakes which students keep making. That is why I made this interactive guide on these important areas and sections, so that you don't make these common mistakes. And what are the common mistakes? Students write generically. Now you will not write generically, because you know I have to reach level 3. And to reach level 3, I have to explain, apply, explain, apply. You will ignore, students ignore command verbs. If they're asking you to recommend, you need to recommend. If they're asking you to identify and discuss, you have to identify and then discuss. Match the verb. Now you will be aware of this. Students misallocate subtasks. If it's 40% like it was over here, it's 10 marks. So essentially, one well explained point is roughly 3 marks. So essentially, I have, for a 10 mark section, I am writing 3 points. Write less, but explain each point, PEA for each point. Students don't plan. So I gave you the Finntutors planning approach to help you with this. And then students don't explain their points, apply their points. This is where the PEA comes into the picture. So essentially, if you follow the guide which we have provided through this interactive course, through this interactive guide which we have created, which is an ultimate solution for you, I can guarantee you have a positive approach on exam day. So now a lot of students will say, okay, what should be my study plan? I am not, for example, I have started some weeks ago, or I'm just starting, or what should I begin with? A lot of students face this. See, my suggestion is, very specifically, let's focus on our prep. We don't try to predict exam questions or what will come up in the exam or how it will come up in the exam. No. We try to make solid exam prep, because the exam pillars are the same. If we are well prepared, let the exam throw anything at me, I don't care, because I will be ready, I will be good to go, and I will be ready to answer whatever the exam throws at me. So okay, when you are starting your prep, we already know what the major sections are: revision and pre-scene. So the first week, I would ask you to only focus your attention on revision, focus your attention on the blueprints, focus your attention on getting your revision done. When you sign up with us, or if you sign up with us, We will take care of your structured study. We will tell you through our live lessons, through our WhatsApp group communications, what we expect you to do week by week by week or class by class by class. So there is no ambiguity. But even if you're self-studying, the place to start is understanding the exam, which you've already done through this guide, and hence beginning your revision on the core areas which we have highlighted. Because without IAS 21 knowledge, without your integrated reporting knowledge, there's no chance that we can move ahead. There's no chance that we can move, no chance that we can move to writing. So revision is the place to start. While you are doing your revision, there is a common misconception that, I should first complete entire revision and then I can move to the next section. Even today, after so many years of teaching, I am not confident on everything. But I can explain any concept you like in my own words because that's how I have taught myself. So don't try to be an expert on everything. Yes, start with your revision, finish 1 or 2 core areas, and then side by side you need to start with the other aspects as well. Revision continues in the background. So while you are doing your revision, let's pick up our pre-scene. This is where we carefully, word by word, go through the pre-scene released by CIMA. Again, if you're studying with us, you get our full 3-hour foolproof pre-scene. You don't need anything else because it's annotated to E, P and F important areas. So you don't need to worry about anything. Simply follow my explanations like a movie and we'll take care of everything for you. If you're self-studying, when you pick up the pre-scene, please make sure you go word by word, line by line, understanding your company and try to understand the problems, the strengths, the weaknesses of your company and try to link it to E, P and F topics, which will be a little bit trickier for you, a lot more easier for us because we have been doing it since years. But essentially the pre-scene is there to give you hints. Every word in the pre-scene is there giving you a hint. You need to be smart enough to identify it. So while you are doing your pre-scene side by side, you again always continue with your revision. So in the week after the pre-scene, my suggestion, so first week I started with the exam, started with my revision. Second week I picked up my pre-scene and I go through my revision. Again, I continue my revision. Third week again, pick up my pre-scene, financial analysis. The end of the pre-scene is the financial analysis. Now the pre-scene is also something which is a continuous effort. You don't have to, mug up everything, but I would recommend reading the pre-scene as many times as possible because the pre-scene has a lot of hints. So keep reading the pre-scene and make sure you continue with your revision. When you're doing your revision, remember, it's not about memorizing theory. It's about explaining a topic in your own words. Our twice a week live lessons focus only on skills on how you can develop your writing, develop your explanations, develop discussions. All of that is the exact things that we focus on, but the first part of prep is always going to be focus on revision, focus on pre-scene, focus on the important topics within the pre-scene, which we do for you. The last weeks of your prep have to be 100% focused on writing. You can learn everything, remember everything, but you cannot do well on this exam until and unless you have good, solid writing practice. If you're self-studying, you pick up the past papers, actually relate it to Cartn and then actually write down your answers. Because until and unless you type, until and unless you practice 3 plus 3 plus 3, until and unless you practice PEA, you definitely cannot, ace or do well on this exam. So practice is what makes perfect. And for the final weeks of prep, the only thing that we recommend is writing mocks, as many mocks as you can. When you write with us, we do 25 mock questions which are split set wise. So we'll do 2 to 3 sets a week. Each set which you write, we check, mark, correct, live class discussion. Again, new set, check, mark, correct, live class discussion. So we are writing, checking, discussing, writing again. This is a cycle which we create, which helps you understand your weak areas and essentially helps us, move to the exam in a very positive way. So in all of our lessons, the only thing that we'll do is discuss, help you move to level 3, help you with ideas, help you how to use the past, help you how to use the past papers, help you using our Fin AI. Essentially, the final weeks of your prep all have to be about writing, bettering your writing style, bettering your writing approach, understanding level 3, understanding your PEA approach, so that in my prep to the exam I arrive fresh, not frantic, but fresh, so that I can, essentially ace and do well on the exam. Now, after doing all of this, we arrive at the most best part of the guide, which is mock questions. Nowhere else you're going to find this level of support for free, which we are giving you as part of this interactive guide, which is 5, 6, 7 questions exactly related to the exam. These are a small part and a small chunk of our total 25 mock questions, but to help you to make sure you pass the exam, these questions, a small part of our 25 questions, have been made available for you. These are the exact questions which you can expect within the exam, the pattern of the exam, the structure of the exam, the system of the exam, exactly like the exam. We have given you 7 scenarios. This is, remember, exactly like the exam, and you're not going to find this amount of free support anywhere else. Just imagine when you're on our course, the level of integrity that we deliver the course with ensures that you enter your exam with a positive mindset. Now, this first question, how I want you to treat these mock questions is exactly like the exam. So take these mock questions when you are ready, not just because they're available. Okay, so I'll read the question, I'll read the answer. No. How I would recommend you to do it is, okay, let me do good revision. Let me do good pre-scene review. Let me understand how to write, practice that a little bit using the past papers, and then arrive at the first question. Give yourself 45 minutes and then treat it exactly like the exam. And give yourself 45 minutes and write the answer. Read the question, read this, your reference material, and then if you just toggle on practice mode, if you just turn on practice mode like I showed you, the model answer will not be straight away revealed. You will have a section to actually write your answer. And once you have written your answer, you can hit reveal the model answer, and the model answer will be revealed for you. You can then compare your answer to the model answer and then see how we have written, how we have presented, how you can improve your answer. You do the same for the second task. Write it, then reveal the model answer. So what we always try to do is to guide you and show you that the best way to learn is by writing and then by receiving feedback. So what we do in our classes also is, okay, we'll discuss a question with you when we start, explain the system for you, we'll give it to you for homework. You will submit it, we will check it, mark it, correct it individually, send it back with suggested and model answers, and then in our next class, discuss that question, discuss the mistakes. So we all have a solid learning on what was needed, what was required, and what you did. So that is the method that we learn from. So the fastest way to improve is feedback, and you might think that your answer is level 3, but you'll never know till a tutor marks it, till we give you guidance. You look at the model answer, yes, but how do you reach it? What is missing in your answer? That's what specifically the marking always focuses on. So what we have done is, for every question, we have given you the chance to write, plus we have given you the model answer as well, which you can learn from, which you can benefit from. So essentially, this revision interactive guide, like I said, gives you everything you need for your exam. We take this one step further in our courses, within our courses, where we hold your hand through the entire process. So it's not like self-study within our courses, but it's more like a guided approach. So this way we have given you 7 questions and 7 scenarios, exactly like the exam, testing major themes also. So if you see, the topics that we have chosen are the ones which keep coming up, like target costing, like pricing, like investment appraisal, like IS 21, like WAC, like IS 37. These are all which keep coming up. A lot of more important topics are still pending, like IFRS 15, like integrated reporting, like your investment appraisal, like your joint venture accounting, associate accounting, group accounting. All of that is covered within our 25 mock questions. Again, what I'm going to recommend you to do is click on the question, give yourself 45 minutes and actually type out your answer. Then compare it to my model answer, and you will see where you can improve, how you can improve. But the best way to always improve is marking. And that's what our full course includes, which gives you everything you need. So this is the best, I will say, category of the entire interactive guide, but you can only use it well if you have worked on revision, worked on the pre-scene, which is the earlier parts of this interactive guide. These are our own created questions. You're not going to find them anywhere else. They're very much relevant to Cartn, very much can come up in the exam on key topics. So please practice them well. They will 100% help you. And if you find it helpful, you can always transition to our course and we'll take care of all the aspects for you over there. You made it this far, so I need to make sure I give you a little bit more. I have already given you so much through this interactive guide, but because our motto is all about helping students, we have a free mini course as well for you. So to experience a marked mock within our system, to experience our pre-scene analysis, another 12-13 hand-picked resources which are not part of this interactive guide, you can enroll onto our free mini course over here. 100%, if you found the interactive guide helpful, the mini course takes it to a little bit of a higher level. And if you find, and you don't want to waste your time, you found everything helpful, because once you find this helpful, you should straight away move to one of our courses, may it be the full course, on-demand course, one-on-one course, whatever, because from then on, the course becomes the only thing that you focus on and everything else you can put aside. So if you've already found our material helpful, don't waste time, go directly into the course, and the course will take care of everything you need from start to finish. So when you're ready to go all in, our courses include FinAI, which is a one-of-a-kind AI we have created, we have coded, which is trained on the Cartn pre-scene. So you can ask it any questions based on the topics of E2, P2 and F2 or related to the pre-scene. It will give you a very summarized, synopsized answer, scenario specific answer. This is unique to Finntutors, and how to use it well, I will teach you within the course. Twice a week live lessons, our marked mocks, our pre-scene analysis, our compiled notes which are connected to the blueprints, everything comes included. So whether you want to go for the on-demand pack, the full course, or the one-on-one coaching, which is completely personalized, the full course is twice a week live lessons. The on-demand course is the recordings of those live classes. The only difference between the on-demand course and the full course is live classes, and full course has 25 mock questions. On-demand has 15 mock questions. Pretty much everything else along with our commitment remains the same. Now we keep mentioning pass guarantee, pass guarantee, pass guarantee. Now we are guaranteed that you will enter into the exam with a positive mindset, with a positive approach, with a confident approach if the course is completed. So you go for any course, you follow it, you sit our mock exams, you complete the course. Then you take your exam, and then for any reason you do not pass, the free access is provided for the next window. You sign up for August, you don't pass, you get free access to November as long as the course is completed. There is no catch here, you just need to complete the course. Because we are very confident that you will find yourself in a very good mental headspace, confident if you learn from the course, follow the course, which comes by following my classes, following my mock exams. So essentially, ensure that you follow the course. I hope you found this interactive guide helpful. We have a WhatsApp community which I keep posting on, like I mentioned. Please make sure it's free. So please make sure you join the WhatsApp community. And with that, this marathon, interactive guide which we created for the MCS exam comes to an end. If you found it helpful, please share it with your friends who are taking it. Give us a shout out on LinkedIn, Facebook, anywhere if you find the material helpful. It will give us further motivation to keep creating stuff like this to help you ace this exam. For any questions, you can always reach out to us. We are always available. Thank you and best of luck for your exam.